You got regular business too. You want me to let him in? Regular visits. What's the promise? Oh, yo, go into the hold on. Say, yeah. Last time they had to go fix something. Last time I saw the game, they had holes on the. That's hello. Yes. Thank you very much. How you doing? Oh, that. Yeah, I told him that's all. I think perfect. Well, at least you can play, right? You want whatever there's someone. What's up, big guy? Big guy. Williams. Yeah, he's nice. That's Well, yeah, so. Let's stay on nation. No, I didn't. He bought out, so. I'm okay, Trey, I'm gonna let him in. You heard? I'm gonna let him in. Yep. Give that, you find, you know, you're right. But you're not going right now. Yep. I don't gotta do anything here. Nah. Yep. But it should be good. If you have any issues, just talk to them. Yeah.
Morning, Mr. Mulfern. How are you?
Good morning, I'm good. How are you doing?
Do you mind getting the officer, because the volume on your end is very low. We can just barely hear you. If you don't mind just getting the officer, he's gonna have to put the volume on.
Okay.
Theo
Thank
Wengertsman,
you.
I can come into your room and fix that. Mr. Mulkern doesn't need to get the CO. Mr.
No,
Mulkern,
go
you can
get
have a
the
seat.
officer. There's an officer, Mr. Mulfern. We can't really hear you. We need the officer to come in the room with you, because he has to put the volume up, because we can't really hear you.
1 second.
Mr. Mulkern, you can come back in the room. We can take care of it on our end.
Oh, they're already coming over here.
Okay, you can let the CO know we don't need him.
All right. They said never mind. They couldn't hear me, but they fixed it. Yeah, thank you.
You can have a seat, sir.
Morning, my name is Parole Officer Weinertzman. Today is Wednesday, June 10th, 2026, and this is the hearing of Connecticut Board of Pardons. Following board members are present this morning, and by stating their names on the record, certifying they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, Mike Poole. Good morning, Alex Tuckoff.
Nancy Turner.
Sir, can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
Christopher Mulkern, 407354.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Christopher Mulkern, inmate number 407354. He's serving a sentence of 41 months, followed by 79 months of special parole for 2 counts of criminal weapon possession, 3 counts of larceny, murders, and burglary in the 3rd degree. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of August 3rd, 2026. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan in place that has been reviewed and shows that he has completed his Tier 2, New Thoughts, as well as vocational training. He's currently participating in People Empowering People and is enrolled in the TRUE unit. Utilizing a statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score on the SRT falls within the very high range risk for recidivism. Mr. Mulkern, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole, and you may begin.
Thank you for allowing me to speak here today. Parole, I know, is a privilege, and I've been given this privilege in the past, and I made terrible decisions. I broke the law, I failed to report to my parole officer, and I possessed firearms and stolen cars. Not only that, but I didn't even stay out of trouble when I came to prison. My behavior was unacceptable, and I have no excuses. The things I did were wrong, and I can't take back any of the harm I've caused. However, my past does not determine my future, and my bad choices don't define the man before you today. I want to apologize to my victims. Through my selfishness, my greed, and my disregard, I caused emotional and financial harm to multiple people. The people whose property it was, their neighbors, their friends and family, and the potential victims that, if escalated, my crimes could have impacted. People are entitled to security and peace of mind and to enjoy the things they work hard for. And they shouldn't have to worry about their space and property being taken and violated. If somebody were supposed to take their kids to school or had a job interview or go to the doctor's office or go to work or just wanted to take a ride and they woke up to their car stolen, then that means I just probably ruined their entire day, week, or their year. And this brings them stress and problems they don't deserve. Car thefts have been a plague in this state, and I feel terrible for my part in contributing to that and being responsible for all of these things. And I wouldn't want to go through this. I wouldn't want my mother to go through this, and it doesn't make it okay because it's somebody else that I don't know. And also, having a gun is inexcusable and can have devastating outcomes. And I would have never been able to live with myself if anyone had been hurt or worse as a result of me being reckless and irresponsible. I recently learned about forgiveness, which I always thought meant accepting an apology, but forgiveness is an intense feeling of peace that takes weight off of our hearts and minds. And I'm still in the process of forgiving myself for being the person I was. I never intended to cause harm to anybody, but my actions ended up hurting everyone around me. I pray that anyone I've ever negatively impacted in my life forgives me. A lot of thinking time and self-reflection has led me to evaluate my life so far. And not only was I dissatisfied, I was disgusted. Ashamed at the way I spent my life, making the same bad choices over and over again. Since I was 15, in and out of prison and constantly disappointing everybody that cares about me. None of that is okay, and it's not who I am. Moving forward, my life is going to be a life of purpose, integrity, and happiness. And once again, I can't do anything I've done, but what I can do is live my life the right way. Being a mentee in the TRUE program, the structure of the unit, and the guidance from mentors and staff has contributed to my growth and change. There is no violence or negativity. This program is a safe space to share ideas, express how I feel, and work on a better me. I am constantly showed that I matter, and every day is a learning experience, and I am always productive. I've been a volunteer janitor on the unit's commercial cleaning crew for the past 6 months. I'm the leader of the 3rd shift floor wax crew. I'm a foreman for the commercial cleaning crew. I'm the kitchen manager. I'm the 2nd shift barbershop janitor, and I'm also in charge of cleaning the hallway and the counselor's office every day on 2nd shift. I participate daily in discussion groups and educational workshops. I completed Road to Recovery, Career Choices, Reflections, Conflict Resolution. I'm currently enrolled in Vocabulary, Influence, Perception, and Road to Change. New thoughts has opened my mind to a lot, and it's actually where I learned about forgiveness. I learned about the importance of self-love and how to challenge my negative thoughts. And I learned about cognitive distortion, which actually is something that I do a lot. It's taking situations or things and blowing them out of proportion in my mind and reacting in a negative way. So learning how to correct that way of thinking has helped me to change my mindset and make better decisions. And also, I also have a better understanding of why I always have to think very carefully before I act or speak. And also, enrolling in the commercial cleaning vocation class was one of the best decisions I've ever made. Thanks to my teacher, Mr. Brathwaite, the course of my future was forever changed. The skills and lessons taught in this class were one of a kind, and I will carry them with me forever. I never knew which career I would pursue or what I would do with my life. Now I know exactly what I'm going to do. I was trained to be a leader and an expert in the janitorial industry, and I am blessed to have been a part of this experience. I enjoy the work. I'm highly skilled, and I take pride in my work and a job well done. I can only imagine how I feel when I'm home doing these services for people, and the certifications I earned from this class open countless job opportunities to me. When I'm released, I'll also start my own cleaning company called Complete Clean, which I'll specialize in window cleaning, junk removal, and hard floor care, which are things, the hard floor care and the window cleaning is actually things I'm doing now on a daily basis, maintain the floors in the unit. I have an extensive reentry plan as well. My top priority is getting a job. So I will contact local temp agencies. And as I mentioned, I have specific jobs I will search for in the janitorial industry. However, my goal is to be employed within 2 weeks of release. So I will be applying for warehouse positions such as Trader Joe's, Bazzuto's, Amazon, Costco, Walgreens distribution, and any other warehouses that are available. I also earned my OSHA 10, so I will apply as a laborer for construction and landscaping positions. I'm going to build my credit, get my license, get my own apartment, and start my company. Being in the halfway house will allow me to put most of my money away to save for an apartment. And I will also, if I need to, apply to be placed in a parole house or a reach bed. I will reach out to Project Longevity because I'm aware that they assist people with reentry support such as housing, clothing, and employment. Nothing is going to stop me from being a positive, productive member of society. It is how I want to live my life, and I know I'm ready. Looking back, understanding myself, what I've done and what I've been through, my mind is set on a better future. I've overcome the fear of change, and I accept that everything is up to me. I again take full accountability for my behaviors. I accept my past, and I understand that I have a history of making horrendous decisions. However, I respectfully ask the board to allow me this opportunity to show who I am now and that I am not my past. I'm almost 27 years old. I'm a better version of myself since coming to prison. I'm never coming back to prison. I will never commit another crime. I will stay away from anybody that lives a negative lifestyle, and I will successfully complete parole, complete special parole, and achieve all of my goals along the way. I have a very promising future ahead of me. Thank you very much for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Mulkern. So you know what we do here. It's reading the decision from your last parole hearing that Ms. Turner, Board Member Turner wrote. I'll tell you, just up front, I was a little discouraged because you had that same positive attitude then, and then you went out and things went sideways again for you, so I hope that being a part of the TRUE program has changed things for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to take turns asking questions, right? And then we're going to discuss your case and give you a decision, okay?
All right.
And we're going to start questions this morning with Board Member Sarkov.
Chair. Good morning, Mr. Mulkern.
Good morning.
Hey, Toast. So how can I understand this? You had a discussion parole hearing in February of 2023. Yeah. You were granted discretionary parole. Looks like you went out in June of 2023 to the federal detainer.
Yes.
So you were on dual supervision by federal probation and parole.
Yes.
And you came back in June of 2024.
Yes.
What happened?
Went back. started engaging back in the same things that led me to prison in the first time. And I stole cars, and I stole guns from the cars, and I got arrested for that. Quit my job. Then I was supposed to report to parole, and I never did. And then shortly after that, I was arrested for the guns in the car.
Did you ever consider what the consequences may be? You're on the dual supervision. Police know who you are, right? What did you think was going to happen eventually?
I wasn't thinking at the time, but I knew that I could go to jail. I probably would go to jail.
And you were okay with it?
I mean, I'm not necessarily okay with it, but I was still engaging in that behavior, so I wasn't concerned with it. And they were all bad. It was all bad choices. Everything was bad. It was things I should have never did, and I did again and again.
So you were in the community, what, for about a year or so?
No, I was in the halfway house for some of that time. So I don't know if that counts as being in the community, but
Yeah, I counted this being in the community. So about a year total, right?
less than that, like maybe 5, 6 months.
When did you join the True Unit?
I joined the True Unit in November of 2024.
November of 24?
Mhm.
And where were you before that?
I was in Cheshire. I was in South Block 3 for about 8 months.
Okay, so the different block at Cheshire.
Yes.
November 2024 is when you started. Looks like that's when you stopped getting discipline reports too, right?
I'm sorry, that was a mistake. Oh, I'm sorry. November 2025 is a True Unit. I came to Cheshire. Yeah, my last disciplinary report was December 2024. I was in Cheshire for almost a year. I had applied for the True Unit, and I got in November 2025. That's my mistake. I apologize.
Okay. What was going on with you in 2024 that you got all those disciplinary reports?
Just being reckless and not regarding others or caring for my actions. Not being responsible, not acting grown, not being mature.
Okay, so how has you think it changed on that? Because you haven't received one since December of 24.
I was tired of it. I was tired of getting in trouble. And actually, so I had my federal sentencing. The judge said something. Judge Dooley said something to me, and she said, which I mentioned a little bit in my statement, was that you can't even. She said, you're asking for leniency, and you can't even stay out of trouble in a confined space. So why would I allow you to any opportunity of leniency if you can't prove yourself to conform to the rules of where you are? And I thought about that, and I was like, I was just like staying to myself. I'm grown. I should know better. I should behave better.
Is there a program that you participated in the True Unit that really stands out to you that you think will be helpful to you?
Yeah, there's two. So I think New Thoughts was my favorite program. I took a lot from that because it covers a lot. So that's where like the way I think and I realize like contributes to my actions. And nobody else has ever been my problem, and I've been the problem every time because I'm the one that thinks the way I think, and not only thinking that, but responding to those in negative ways. And just learning about like the cognitive distortion and controlling my impulses. Also, the importance of just going my own way and not concerning myself with the thoughts or opinions of other people, following crowds, was big for me. And forgiveness too, that was big because that's something that's not easy to do. Like forgive myself because I think back on all the time I wasted. Like I wasted my whole life just doing the same thing over and over again. And now I'm almost 30 with nothing to show for life but a criminal record. And there's a program in the True program called conflict resolution. I completed that a couple months ago, and that was big for me too because I tend to be controversial at times with myself and others. And it also showed me how to resolve conflict without escalating. It shows how to identify all the needs for conflict, all the different levels of conflict, and it shows that there's not only bad outcomes from conflict, and conflict could also be a good thing, and it could result in like other things. Like for example, a conflict I had, I want to say in here, before I signed up for commercial cleaning, I was going through my own conflict in my head. Like I'm never gonna amount to any. I don't have anything, no path for my future, and then I ended up just looking into the vocation. They got on the tablet, they got a list of the vocation classes that they got here, and it was commercial cleaning. I'm like, I'm gonna sign up for this. And at first, I was just maybe get off the cell and take the class. And then I was in the class, and I was like, wow, this is what I'm gonna do. So that program as well, that was my biggest program, it was about a year long, and that was what I got the most out of because that was what I got my career from. This is what I'm gonna do, and this is what I'm gonna be successful in.
You mentioned some of the jobs that you've had this incarceration. Is there a job that you enjoy the most?
Yeah, it's actually the floors. So recently I actually did this over the last month. I come on third shift every night and I stripped all the floors down to nothing. And I've been re-waxing them and refinishing them, painting the baseboards. And that's my favorite thing to do. The floors. I did the bathroom in the staff bathroom. I do the counselor's offices. I did the lieutenant's office. They want me to do the block next because they like how I did the work. That's my favorite job. That's one of my jobs. It's 3 of us, so we come out
Can I
at
ask you
night.
about that? Are you getting paid for that, or is that you volunteering?
No, it's not. We don't get paid for that.
You don't get paid for that at all?
No, we get paid $14 to be in the True program, like every 2 weeks.
Right.
But that job, so the True program has a currency system that they try to
Okay.
teach money management. So we get the fake checks and we got to pay our rent for the cell to stay in the program and stuff and manage our money. So I'm hired on that for the True currency. The counselor's office job is just voluntary. I don't get paid for that. The kitchen manager, I just got that job a couple weeks ago, so I have to work a certain amount of time before I get paid. It's like a probationary period. I've been the barbershop janitor for a while, and it was voluntary for the first 2 months, but now I'm starting to get paid, I think, next week. But it's all the True currency. Then I'm really just filling in as the foreman for commercial cleaning. So my job was to do the gray part of the floor. I clean all around the block twice a day on the gray part. But the other foreman was unavailable, so I'm just filling in for that time period. And that was also voluntary for about 6 months, and I'll be getting paid for the first time on the True currency for that job next month or end of this month.
And I read the statement you submitted that details your release plan. That was very helpful. Also detailed your support system. You know, what I'm struggling with is that, as you can understand, we've been here before, right? Well, I wasn't here, but you were here just a few years ago. I've listened to that hearing. You sounded very positive then. It sounded like you were going to make it and make better decisions and really going to make a life for yourself. And now here you are. So help us understand what's going to be different. I know you're older, you're 3 years older, you participate in the True unit. Help us understand what's going to be different for you once you're released.
This is going to be a lot different. So first and foremost, I have, like I mentioned, my career, which I've known I just got to work. So working is something I enjoy. I'm upstairs, I'm always working. I'm never, for the most part, sitting around doing anything. I'm productive. I got so much jobs and I stay busy. And that's something I want to carry with me. Also for the janitorial industry and everything I've gained my certifications in, I constantly practice these things and get ready to put them in effect when I go home. And my mind, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of coming to prison. I'm tired of my mother disappointing her and being a bad person to the public. And I should not be back here right now. And that's the truth of it. I saw the board and I had the chance and I messed it up. And nobody put a gun to my head and made me do anything. I did this and it was my choices and I was wrong. And I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to come back to prison. I don't want to disappoint people. I don't want to be the person people stay away from and with the bad reputation, he's a criminal. And I want to be somebody in life. I want to be successful. I want to help people. I want to do what I do. I want to take my talents. I teach people up here. The stuff with the floors, it's simple. I know it sounds simple, but it means something to me where I could do this and people feel good. Like, oh yeah, these floors are nice. Who did these floors? And I can teach other people how to do it, and they do it. So it's simple, but that's what I want to do.
Hey, you seem to me like a very smart guy. It's just unfortunate looking at your record. You have everything going for you, and you're back. You run out of chances, right? Your sentences will get longer and longer each time. What do you think is going to be difficult when you're released?
Difficult. So I know, like, getting a job, I feel like it's easy. I feel like I would be able to get a job with no problem. I will have to seriously stay away from people that I've been around in the past or anybody I know that lives bad. And I've been doing this now. I've distanced myself from people that are negative. I don't have no desire to be around anybody that does the wrong thing. Because I don't want that for my life. So for difficulties, everything I've been working on in the program and in prison, I have to just keep that in mind and keep putting it into effect every day. I have to not just learn all these things for no reason. I have to utilize every single thing that I've mastered or learned. I can't waste this time. I can't let this time go to waste. So after being in prison, it might be difficult to readjust, but I feel like I won't have any problems. Once I get a job and get going and continue on, I just got to stay away from negative people and keep my right mindset now.
Okay, thank you for answering my questions. I think that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Board Member Turner.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So listening to you talk with my colleague, you speak of your work there in the facility and the different positions that you hold with a great deal of pride. And that's positive, because obviously your efforts make you feel good. You said you're not one to be seen sitting around. So I'm going to ask you, Mr. Mulkern, to describe for me your work ethic.
Work ethic is, I think, very good. I perform every job to my high standards. And if I'm given a task, the task is going to be complete. Nobody has to check on it. Anybody that gives me a job to do, they will never come and ask me if I did it, and they will never check it until they just happen to see it, because they know that I'm reliable and they can count on me to get anything done. And which is why I was chosen by the mentors, or the mentor. So there's a mentor that oversees the kitchen, and there's mentees that own the kitchen. I was chosen by them to manage the kitchen because they know that I'm reliable. So I have to collect the checks for the currency. I add everything up. I keep the books. I got to deliver the checks to the banker.
Okay, I'm going to stop you, because it's not about what tasks you do. It's about what you've internalized in terms of who you are as a worker. Because when you get out, you say it's going to be easy to get a job. Maybe for you, the hard part is keeping the job. But you still have to represent yourself well to a potential employer. And one of the ways you can do that is by being able to describe your work ethic. So far, we have reliable, and you work to a high standard. But you have to appreciate, sir, that when you're new in a position, your supervisor is going to be checking up on the quality of your work and the completeness of it. So, are you able to be respectful to a supervisor? Are you able to work as part of a team, making sure that the job gets done, even if some of the other members of the team don't hit your standard.
Absolutely. I have great communication with others, so I'm able to communicate on the workforce. I take directions very well, and I'm very polite.
Okay.
I also will definitely pick up the slack for other people, to complete the task if I need to.
As a team effort. So what about when you're given direction on how your supervisor wants a job done, but you think you have a better way to do it?
That would depend on my rapport with the supervisor. If I'm new on the job, I'm gonna do it exactly how they want me to. However, if I have a good rapport and I've been there, I might approach the supervisor and suggest the idea to him that we may try it like this. And if he says no, then I'm just gonna do it the way that he wants it done.
Because oftentimes in a job setting, you're given direction without an explanation. But the person giving you the direction has very clear reasons why they want it done the way they want it done. And being able to humble yourself and take that direction, even when you think you know better, is also important for developing that rapport over time. Would you agree?
I do agree.
So it sounds like you would be able to explain the kind of worker you are, what it means to you, and your pride, but also your reputation as a worker. You mentioned in your opening statement that you want to be a productive member of society, and we hear that a lot. And I'm going to ask you to define for me what that means to you.
What that means to me is somebody that goes to work regularly, takes care of their family and their responsibilities, pays their bills, pays taxes, they work an actual job, and also provides service. Like I don't believe in being like selfish, all for myself. So like I want to help people. Like I've spent most of my time since I was young taking from people. Coming to prison.
Yeah, because it's kind of ironic to hear you say that you're not selfish, because certainly the crimes that you're committing out there in our communities was very selfish. So glad to hear you want to help others. What about registering to vote and participating in our democracy?
Absolutely. I wasn't aware. I don't think I could vote for president. I don't know if felons can. I don't know. I know I could vote in like state elections and stuff. That was I actually watched like the politics shows like on the Sundays. I try to keep up to date with what's going on in the community with the mayors and the governors and the senators. I try to.
Well, then look into it and find out when your voting rights are restored and participate. So you understand that, while you're on special parole in particular, you need to have a job that's not under the table, but it's legit, and that you're paid and taxes are taken out. You file your taxes, every spring, those kind of adult responsibilities, maintaining a bank account. You talked about saving there and saving in the halfway house. So, doing that through banking institutions is a really good idea. But it's about being part of a community, having a library card, for example. But being a good neighbor. When you say help others, there's ways to volunteer in your community, but there's also ways to just be kind to your neighbors, right? So just encouraging you to think more expansively about productive member of society. Being a good father when that opportunity comes around to you. You mentioned a temp agency. Have you ever worked with any of the reentry centers in the state?
Oh, I have not.
Okay. I would encourage you to look into that before your eligibility in August, because, they work with employers who are willing to hire people with criminal records. So you don't run the risk, with being pulled off a job through the temp agency because something didn't check out. And you don't also end up owing the temp agency for those placements. So consider finding out about the reentry centers in the area of the halfway house that you want to go to. I'm glad to hear you want to apply to some of the warehouses and do that kind of work as you pursue a career in commercial cleaning. Do you have a tablet there in the facility? Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Have you looked at any of the applications and what it entails for those jobs?
Yes. Most commercial cleaning jobs I see are actually all.
I'm talking about the warehouse jobs.
Oh, the warehouse jobs. Okay. Warehouse. They don't have much up there for warehouses that I've seen, but to my knowledge and people I've talked to, these warehouses hire people. Specifically, I heard they like it when people from halfway houses apply at these places and they hire them. And as long
What
as
I'm
you're willing to.
asking you is, I'm trying to get a sense of how much work you've done in advance of going out into the community, whether you've looked at what the application consists of, whether you feel capable of completing that on your own. It's doing the foundational, the grunt work to prepare yourself for release instead of waiting till you get to the halfway house to start looking at who's hiring. Advanced work, what we're talking about. So you described and apologized appropriately, but you described the stress and perhaps the angry feelings that those you victimized may have as a result of the choices that you were making out in the community. And I know you took voices in your last incarceration, but I want to add to your understanding when you take responsibility and you apologize, the harm is bigger than to those individuals whose cars you took, whose credit cards and belongings disappeared out of their cars. All of society pays for your crimes because the individuals with the vehicles had them insured. And so they may have a deductible that they have to pay before their insurance covers the rest of the damage. But what happens is that all of us end up paying through higher premiums to maintain car insurance, homeowners insurance, those kinds of things, because the insurance companies are going to make their profit. And when they have to pay out because you've committed a crime to one of their policyholders, they pass that expense on to all of their other policyholders to make up for what they had to pay out. Do you understand how that works?
I do.
Okay. So, your behavior, your criminal acts impact a much broader population than what I think you were saying in your apology. And I wanted to make you aware of that because, it's the pebble in the pond. There's a ripple effect and all of society pays for your crimes. We pay for your incarceration and your rehabilitation. But those of us who do follow the rules and laws of our society end up paying through things like increased premiums for our insurance policies.
So everybody suffers from my actions. Everybody does, the whole state, basically. And it might go bigger than that.
Well, and these insurance companies are national. So, yeah.
Everybody.
Okay. It's just important for you to, like I said, expand your understanding of a productive member of society, understand the impact of your crimes on society. You said that through new thoughts, you've learned about forgiveness, but you've also learned about cognitive distortions.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you to share with us one or two cognitive distortions that contributed to your choice to commit the crimes you're serving this sentence for.
So thinking, all right, that's good actually. I quit my job before I left the halfway house. And I was applying for other jobs and I wasn't getting them right away as I thought I would. So Now that distorted my mind to where I can't get a job. I should have stayed where I was. I'm a felon. I can't get a job. So that now caused me to start thinking like, all right, I'm just gonna do this now. And then not only that, so if I get so my mother was going through like we was going through hard times with her drug problem, and it was causing me to react poorly to her. So I was dealing with the stress of dealing with her at the time, and my decisions reacting to that, like in my mind, it blew it up and was like, all right, you know what, I'm done with this. I need to release some stress. And I just made it seem like I stopped caring about just trying to be effective and just started going back the way I was doing instead of trying to productively solve any of my problems.
Was the stress financial?
Partially. It was emotional
So
and
you
financial.
used the failures that you were experiencing to justify stealing from other people?
Well, there's no justifying stealing from anybody, but in my mind to just
The
do it.
distortion of it being justified. Mhm. Like something was owed to you,
No, nothing owed to me.
that you
Just-
were unfairly penalized in society by being labeled a felon?
No, absolutely not. Just that I personalized it as like I'm a personal failure. There's nobody else at fault to anything that happens to me. I
So
never
then
do.
you make it self-fulfilling because you perceive yourself to be a failure, so you continue to engage in acts that reinforce that thinking
train
that
of
you
thought,
are
yeah.
a failure, that you're not worth anything.
Well, failure syndrome, actually. But
So I have to say, Mr. Walker, you know, it's terribly disappointing to see you back here. I think you did a really good job with your opening statement. I really appreciated that you knew your statement. And so it was a combination of presenting it and reading it, but not just head down in the paper reading words to us, but you were presenting it. So you did well with that. The hurdle that I have is the guns. And the fact that when, you know, the search warrant was being served, the irresponsible acts were magnified, you know, by throwing the guns loaded out the window of the apartment for anybody to retrieve, and putting the whole community at risk. Can you talk about that?
yes, I can. So I agree, that was highly irresponsible and a terrible choice. Having the guns, period, were something I should have never did. So I stole the guns out of the cars that were stolen, and I was in the house when the police were coming through the door. I didn't
I
want
know
to
what
get caught.
happened. I'm trying to get at your thinking.
Oh, my thinking was just to try to evade getting caught with the gun.
When you found the guns in the cars, and made the choice to take it with you, what was your plan? Were you going to sell them?
No, I had no like rhyme or reason to that. I just stole them in the car and I said, I'm gonna keep this.
As if it was another pair of sunglasses?
Yes.
But you knew you were a convicted felon. You knew you were prohibited. You can have sunglasses, you can't have a gun.
This is true. I should have never stole it. I should never stole the sunglasses either. It was wrong to take those sunglasses. None of those things belonged to me. They were somebody else's.
Right, but you can't kill another person with a pair of sunglasses.
Absolutely. So, gun, like I said, I've learned about how having a gun is just the range of things that can happen just from possessing a gun are terrible.
Or throwing a loaded one onto the ground.
This is true
You can
because
discharge.
it could have went off and hit somebody and hurt somebody, and I wouldn't have been
Child
able.
could have picked it up.
This is true.
Yeah.
Or somebody could have found it and committed a crime with the any. It's a lot of bad things that could have happened by doing that, and I do regret that. I can't change it, but looking back, I know that was a terrible thing to do.
So you now have the state's deadly weapon offender registry obligation as part of your sentence, and I hope you'll be very careful in upholding that, because failure to do so can bring you back to prison. Thank you for talking with me, Mr. Mulcairn. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Mulcairn, the one thing that I don't think was touched on a lot was substance use. So your last time out, you were smoking some marijuana, you were using pills and stuff like that. I know that you took tier 2, previously.
2019 and 2022.
Yeah. And so I guess what I want to figure out is, where are you with substance use now?
I don't have a desire to use anything. I feel like anything, like any drug use is detrimental to my success. To me, just being a productive person, and I wouldn't want to put myself back through that of suppressing my feelings or just getting high and just wasted. It's like harming myself. I'm harming everybody. So I learned how to cope differently, and that's something I don't have a desire to go back to at all. Especially
So,
had a
yeah, go ahead.
had a
I'm sorry.
bad. I went to SEG in November 2024, and that was an eye opener for me with that. And then also seeing the people in the prison constantly. It's not in the TRUE program, but before I came to the TRUE program, in the general population, there's people who's overdosing constantly on that K2 stuff, and that's what drugs do. They look like zombies, and that's something that is not appealing to me. And I think it's not something I want to ever do
Okay.
again.
So where do you think you get your pro-social support in the community?
So I have 2 younger brothers, and although like I've been absent from their lives for since they were young, coming in and out of prison, they're still there for me, and they still want me to succeed. And when I get on the phone and tell them that I'm gonna do good, I'm gonna do this and do that, they support me, but they question me. They say, "Well, you said this last time, so are you really gonna do it this time?" And I got my I have my 11-year-old niece. She also somebody that like I love her dearly, and she's always asking me if I'm gonna stay home, and that's not something an 11-year-old should be asking anybody. So that my mother has been clean for the past 8 months, and she's been a good supporter of mine, and she's looking forward. I know she really believes me to come home and do well, and that's something I want to do. So those are my main supports that I have, are those people that have been there, and even though through my continuous bad decisions, they're still there for me now. And I would be a fool and just a bad person to take advantage and throw that away.
That's something really important to focus on, right? The substance use looks like is something that could help you go down the wrong path again quickly, right?
Yes.
So we're going to talk about your case now and give you a decision, okay? So,
All right. Sir.
Board Member Sarko.
The chair. Mr. Mulcairn rates very high for recidivism. At a young age of 26, he already has a semi criminal history. He was granted discretionary parole back in 2023. Was under dual supervision, parole and federal probation, and came back to this incarceration about a year later. During this period of incarceration, he's completed a number of programs. He is in a TRUE, participated in all the programming that comes with that. He does have 8 disciplinary reports. He stopped getting these tickets in December of 2024. He's a worker. He likes to work, and talked about all the various jobs that he's had in the facility. I think he knows what to do in order to be successful. my question is whether you can really stay the course and execute his plans, but he does have a plan, he knows what to do. I'd like to give him a chance to prove himself in discussion and parole, so I'm going to support it, although I understand this case does present quite a dilemma.
All right, Board Member Turner.
I appreciate everything you said, Mr. Sarkoff. It really is, what do they say, a conundrum wrapped in a pickle. You know, I appreciated Mr. Mulkern's description of himself as controversial. I think that's exactly the situation we're in now. You know, on paper, it really does give one pause, having been on the discretionary parole panel that voted him last time in 2023. It's head shaking that we're back here. He has a detainer to the feds for an 18-month sentence for violation of probation to follow this sentence. You know, hearing really incredibly positive, insightful things from Mr. Mulkern today that have me wanting to hope. So I will also be voting to grant.
I think one of the things that I'm looking at as well is if we vote to parole today, he'll be released from federal prison the same week he achieves 100% of this sentence, and then go on to do special parole until 2033, which is additional supervision that will be closely monitored. So if something goes awry here, we see Mr. Mulkern again.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that with what the mentors in the True Unit have been able to accomplish, and Mr. Mulkern's commitment to change and his demonstration thereof will be helpful in making him successful. I have federal detainer, halfway house, no operation of a motor vehicle without parole officer's permission. I also brought over, there was 2 victims from the larceny ones, JN and T, well, maybe 3. I'm sorry. What's our desire to do that?
So these are motor vehicles that were stolen, and he didn't know the individuals.
Okay,
So I'm disinclined to include them.
I'm good with that.
But he does have a new co-defendant who's the brother of his underlying co-defendant.
Are you related to them at all?
No.
Okay. So the 2 co-defendants?
Brian
Yep.
Cordero
Yep.
would be his current co-defendant, and then there would be a general no contact with Edwin Cordero.
Right. Anything else? Did you have?
That's it.
Okay, and we have August 3rd.
Mhm.
Tuesday is parole eligibility date. So regarding Christopher Mulkern, 407354, I move to grant parole on or after August 3rd, 2026, with the following conditions that will apply to both his discretionary parole and his special parole, in addition to standard parole conditions: halfway house placement, no operation of motor vehicle without parole officer's permission, release to his federal detainer, no contact with co-defendants, Brian Cordero, general no contact with previous co-defendant Edwin Cordero. Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Mr. Mulkern, you've been voted to parole, and your conditions will be explained to you prior to your release. You know that you have to go finish your sentence with the federal government before you're released back onto special parole in the community. And encourage you to keep that positive attitude and to set yourself up for success. The person that I see there doesn't belong there, really.
Thank you. This concludes the hearing for Christopher Walker, inmate for 40735. Mr. Walker, you can leave the room now, okay?
I can't hear you.
You can leave the room now. You're all set.
All right, thank you. Everybody have a nice day.
You too. Thank
Never-
you.
Nobody will ever see me again. This is the last time ever.
I hope
I'll
we
be
see
in
you.
trouble.
I hope we see you doing good things in the community. That's what I hope we see.
Absolutely, but in this setting, never again.
Good.
Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Parole Officer Winterton. It's Wednesday, June 10th, 2026. This is the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. Following board members are present this morning. If I stated your names on the record, certify they've reviewed all statutorily required documents in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, Mike Pohl.
Good morning, Alex Tucker.
Nancy Turner.
Sir, can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
Avery Johnson, 273-915.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Avery Johnson, inmate number 27915. He's serving a sentence of 15 years, executed suspended after 5 years, followed by 5 years of probation for 2 counts of possession with intent. As of today, records reflect parole eligibility date of November 8th, 2026. There's no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan in place that has been reviewed, showing that he's completed tier 2 intensive aftercare thresholds, as well as new thoughts. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score, and the SRT falls in a very high range risk for recidivism. Mr. Johnson, this is now your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole and you may begin.
I feel like I rehabilitate myself. I take all the accountability for my actions. Since I've been in jail, I've been working outside clearance in the town of Cheshire, recycling.
Is that it, sir?
Yes.
Okay. So what we're going to do this morning is we've read about your background, what's got you to this incarceration, your history, what you've accomplished since you've been inside, your interview with a parole officer. And based upon that, we have some questions to arrive at suitability for parole.
Yes.
And so we're going to take turns asking those questions, and then we're going to talk about your case and give you a decision. Okay?
Okay, sir.
All right. Mr. Johnson, what are you doing in prison? Why are you there?
Right now, I
Yeah,
did tier 2.
what brought you to prison? Why are you in prison?
Selling drugs.
And what was going on with that? Why were you selling drugs?
Because my son had got murdered on Father's Day, and I took a real bad turn, and I just needed money to support my habit. I turned my back on my wife, my daughters, because my son had got murdered, and I really just went down a bad slope.
So it really fell apart for you. And I'm sorry,
Yes.
I'm sorry for your loss. I really
Yes.
am.
18 years old, 40 days out of high school, graduated, and he got murdered, shot in the back on
Right.
Father's Day.
And the way it appears is there was in June of 23 there was a breach of peace and interfering with a police officer. So that was about the time of things started to go sideways here.
Yes.
Because you hadn't had any, you hadn't been involved in Connecticut with any criminal infractions since 2011. So you went 12 years without anything going on.
Yeah, it was just when my son got murdered, I took a bad turn, and everything just went downhill from there. Like, I didn't feel like I was needed no more on this earth. And
Okay. So have you talked with people at the facility? We're live streaming, so I'm only going so far here.
yes,
You know what I'm saying, right?
yes,
So you've talked to people at the facility about what's happened and what was going on with you and things like that, maybe come to some kind of resolution or anything like that?
I took parenting programs and I took fatherhood programs to better myself and to cope with my loss. I graduated both of them, parenting and fatherhood.
Okay. And so that helped you deal with it.
Yes, the loss of my son.
Okay. And just, so that we get to where we're going here as well. If you go back into the community or when you go back into the community, certainly things like this aren't over yet, right?
Yes.
So what do you do? What do you do if things come up and start to go sideways again? What do we do here?
I have a good support system with my wife, my 2 daughters, and I'm also enrolled in parents who lost kids through gun violence out of New Milford, Danbury.
So you'll be able to turn to people there to help sort out whatever's going on.
Yes.
And since you've been in, there haven't been any disciplinary reports.
No.
You've taken a lot of programming. When this happened, did things go sideways with alcohol or drugs?
When my son got murdered?
Yep, for you. Did things go? Okay.
Yes.
And how are you going to set yourself up for success in not having to do that again?
I'm going to stay busy, stay active, stay working, and have a good supporting cast around me. I promise you it won't happen again.
I understand. So you have done, since you've been in, you have done some AA, NA stuff?
Yes.
Is that something you're interested in continuing to do out there, or do you think going and being involved with the parents group and things like that is going to be enough?
Yes, it's going to be enough.
Okay, but you know that you can turn to support if you need
Yes,
to,
whenever.
right?
Yes.
All
We have
right,
a local MCCA in the town I'm living in too.
okay. And they not only do substance use stuff, but there's counseling and things like that there as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. You're gonna go out and do programs or do, no. You're gonna go out there and find employment. What were you doing prior to when things went sideways and you were dealing drugs?
I was working at a car dealership. I was a porter.
Okay, and do you think you want to go back and do something like that again, or?
Yes, I have jobs lined up already. I have applications on Indeed already, and I have a couple of offers already waiting for me.
Okay. And your sponsorship with your spouse has been confirmed. And you've had outside clearance as well, so you're very well trusted there at the facility.
Yes, I've been outside clearance 2 years.
And that's been going on for 2 years. Okay. Let me see if any of the other board members have questions for you. I'm all set with your case. Board member Turner, any questions?
Just very briefly, Mr. Johnson.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. I want to extend my sympathies on the loss of your son.
Thank you.
You mentioned this New Milford group that's focused on gun violence.
Yes.
Okay. Are you also aware of a nonprofit called Parents of Murdered Children?
No, I'm not.
Okay. They run support groups and they do other community. So I would encourage you to look them up on your tablet as well.
Okay.
May I ask the status of the case involving those responsible?
As of right now, he's going to trial.
Okay, so there's been an arrest and
Yes,
charges have been brought.
Yes, it's been an arresting. He's going to trial right now.
Okay. Parents of Murdered Children is a great resource for helping you continue to participate in the criminal justice system as your son's, as the person responsible is brought to justice. So, do you know, is this someone your son knew?
No, he didn't know him at all.
Okay. Do you harbor any feelings of retaliation?
Not at all.
Well, that's commendable. I mean, I think it would be human nature to, want some revenge or feelings of vengeance for
Yes.
your loss. How have you been able to get to that place?
Before I did want revenge, but as in this case, it taught me a lot. I learned a lot in parenting and fatherhood with other guys who lost kids. And I believe that the justice system will give me what I want, what I need to get by in life.
Even if it isn't the sentence that you want?
What you do in the dark shall come to the light.
Because it really should be at this point out of your hands, right?
Yes.
And what I would hope you would focus on is how to honor your son's life and memory.
Yes.
Yeah. And there are lots of really positive ways you can do that. I hope you and your wife will choose a few and that it will bring you some comfort.
Yes, we give out book bags to kids. Well, she started a nonprofit organization since I've been incarcerated. She give out book bags.
What's the name of that?
Make Book Bag Drive. I don't know if you heard of it. Make Book Bag Drive out of Danbury, Connecticut.
Well, that's a beautiful thing because, making something positive out of a tragedy really speaks well of your love for your son.
Yes.
Well, I wish you much success, taking some of the things that you've learned in the positions that you've held in the facility. I read that you want to look at flagging.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how to go about that?
My daughter has the information on her when I get home. She has everything for me, the Ocean's 11 and everything I have to do.
It's OSHA.
OSHA, sorry.
OSHA. No, Ocean's 11 is a great movie, if you, but hardly crime free. So
Yes.
OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Administration.
Yes.
So yeah. Don't be doing the stuff that you see in Ocean's 11, 12, 13. Yeah. All right. Thank you for talking with me, Mr.
Thank you.
Avery.
Thank you.
Best wishes.
Board member Sarkophany? I'm pretty sure that I know where we all are through based on our discussion.
Yeah, it is, we are looking at 2.5 years of discretionary parole before he would begin the 5 years of probation.
Right.
I have no alcohol and no co-defendants.
That's what I have. So you have. All right. So regarding Avery Johnson, 273915. Move to grant parole on or after November 8th, 2026, with the following stipulations. In addition to standard parole conditions, no alcohol consumption, no contact with co-defendants James Kafka and Delby for NL. Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Mr. Johnson, you've been voted to parole. Your conditions will be explained to you prior to your release. Certainly you have our condolences again for your son. And we hope that you continue to have sound health and get out there and honor your son's life. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. You have a good day now.
You too.
Thank you. This concludes the hearing for Avery Johnson, inmate number 273915.
Even like, exactly what you were saying about his presentation.
Just a moment,
Yeah.
okay?
Okay.
All right, good morning. My name is Parole Officer Wangerton. Today is Wednesday, June 10th, 2026, and this is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. Following board members are present this morning and by stating their names on the record, certifying they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, Mike Pohl.
Good morning, Alex Tucker.
Nancy Turner.
Sir, can you please state your name? Sorry, can you please state your name and number for the record?
Gilbert Arizari, 389-261.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Gilbert Irizarry, inmate number 38961. He's serving a sentence of 5 years flat with no probation to follow for criminal possession of a pistol or revolver, illegal transfer, purchase of a pistol or revolver, failure to appear in the first degree, along with 5 counts of violation of probation, with underlying offenses that include 3 counts of sale of narcotics and 2 counts of possession with intent. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of December 7th, 2026. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan in place that has been reviewed to show that he has adhered to voices and thoughts. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score on the SRT falls within the high range risk recidivism. Mr. Irizarry, this is now your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole, and you may begin.
Good morning, members of the parole board. I want to start by saying thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here in front of this panel. I want to express my sincere remorse for my actions that led to my incarceration. I take full responsibility for my past. I'm committed to making amends by contributing positively to society. As a father of 4, I'm eager to return to my family and provide them with the support they need. I have a great job opportunity waiting for me that I can start immediately upon my release. The company is Brass Paving. During my incarceration,
I completed several beneficial programs. By taking these programs, it has helped me change the way I think and how I should handle my emotions and fears better. I currently work as a food server in the kitchen. Having a stable job along with positive role models will help me establish a healthy routine for myself. I'm willing to put in the work and attend counseling to improve my mental health and well-being, allowing me to become a better man and father. Thank you for considering my request for parole. I appreciate your time and attention.
Thank you, Mr. Irizarry. So what we're going to do is we've taken a look at your history, what's brought you to this incarceration, what you've accomplished inside, your interview with the parole officer. And based upon that, we have some questions for you to arrive at your suitability for parole. We're going to take turns asking those questions, and then we're going to talk about your case and give you a decision. Okay?
Okay.
And we're going to start questions this morning with Board Member Turner.
Good morning, Mr. Irizarry.
Good morning.
So I want to go over some of the facts so that we both understand your situation. You were on probation at the time for drug sales that you got these new offenses.
Yes.
You, the police stopped your car because there wasn't a license plate. You tried to get away. You drove into the police car. There were 2 guns found inside your car, and it appeared that you were selling cocaine and heroin. So far, how am I doing?
I didn't have no drugs on me. I got caught with the guns.
Okay, but I didn't say that. I said you were selling cocaine and heroin.
Not at that time, no.
But that's been part of your.
Yeah, my probation, yes.
Okay. Remember, you said full responsibility.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So now you have the deadly weapon offender registry. Is this going to be your second time on that registry?
I think it's my first.
Okay. But in March of 2021, you were
Oh,
found with a gun in Bridgeport.
No,
So
I haven't been found with a gun in Bridgeport.
you were found with a gun, correct? You have a gun,
Yes.
prior gun offense.
Yes. Now, this is my first gun charge.
So you want to return to Waterbury. Your girlfriend's going to sponsor you.
Yes.
And you need to appreciate that all eyes are going to be on you. You're going to be on the registry, you're a known gun offender, and you're back in Waterbury.
Yes.
When Officer Wangertsman interviewed you prior to today's hearing, she asked you about any high risks you might face back in the community, and you didn't have any. You didn't identify any, or you didn't have any?
I don't think there's going to be a high risk this time.
Okay. Did you tell her that you got the gun because you felt unsafe?
Yes.
Okay. And yet you're returning to the same community that you felt so unsafe in that you acquired a gun illegally. So to me, that in and of itself is a high risk.
Yes, but the situation in hand, it wasn't me personally that was unsafe. It was my son.
So someone was threatening your son?
No, my 10-year-old son got shot.
Okay. Sorry to hear that. Is he all right?
Yeah, he's good.
Okay. So your response to his victimization was to buy a gun on the street?
Yes.
Okay. And you thought that would make you feel less afraid being in Waterbury?
No, at the time I didn't know like what happened to him, and nobody got arrested. So I didn't know if it was gonna happen again.
Right, so you got the gun, so you would feel less unsafe.
Yes.
Okay, so where did you go to train on how to load and fire and store that weapon?
I didn't train.
Okay, so do you understand how ludicrous it is to think you can keep yourself safe with a gun you don't even know how to use, let alone
Yes.
keep your family safe?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, that
so
was the wrong decision.
well, it was criminal.
Yes.
So the outcome is then that the entire community is unsafe because people such as yourself are carrying around loaded handguns with no training.
Yes.
So in October of 2023, you had a situation with your mom.
Yes.
Okay. Talk to me about your choices there.
We had a couple of disagreements, arguing a little bit. And then when I left, I didn't know she called the cops.
Did you take her car?
No.
I think it must have been more than, an argument if they were able to charge you with disorderly conduct and criminal mischief.
I think because I wasn't present when the police arrived.
Are you saying that your mom misrepresented the situation, that she wasn't, that the police found her credible, but she shouldn't have been?
No, she should have been.
Okay, so again, this is part of full responsibility. You made your mother feel so uncomfortable that she
Yes.
needed the police to back her up,
Yes.
to assist her, okay? Are you in communication with your mother now?
Yes.
Have you apologized?
Yes, I have.
Good to know. So your probation began in end of September of 2022, and this arrest went down December of 2023. And the last time you began probation in January of 2019, you were first arrested on that period of probation in March of 2021. So there's a bit of a cycle that you engage in, and it's likely that this is the reason that you have a flat sentence, is because you've been so resoundingly unsuccessful on probation that it just doesn't make sense to keep putting you on probation. Do you agree?
Yes.
Uh-huh. So we did receive the letter from Brass Paving, and we know that you have a sponsor to go to. You've done well this period of probation without any DRs. Glad to hear that you're a food server, and that you've completed the programs you've completed. But this, did I read that you completed Tier 4 in 2020?
Yes. Yeah, I
Okay.
completed.
So why did you need Tier 2 this bid?
It was a referral, and I just took it to
Well, you
better
have a
myself.
drug and alcohol score of 4.
Yes.
So when you were last out in the community, were you back to using marijuana every day?
Sometimes, yes.
Okay, I don't know how that's a sometimes, but so you needed Tier 2, you needed something else,
Yeah.
because despite completing Tier 4 in 2020, you still don't have a handle on your abuse of substances.
Yes.
Okay. So what is your plan going forward with respect to marijuana?
I'm not trying to use no more because it alters my decision making and not become the man I am really when I'm not on drugs.
So how are you when you're on drugs?
I'm just a little I would say not less thinking about what could go wrong at certain times and not having a care in the world.
Okay. So a little disengaged,
Yes,
a little unmotivated.
yes,
So your language is interesting. Instead of trying not to use, you're not trying to use.
yeah, I'm not going to use this time around. I'm done with everything.
So another version.
Yes. Trying to turn over
So-
a new leaf.
Have you ever had a relapse prevention plan? Do you know what that is?
Yes, but no, I haven't had one.
Even though you did tier 4.
Yes, back in 2019. Yeah, I had a plan. Then, yeah.
Okay, what was it, and is it something you can fall back on now?
Yeah, I was to go attend meetings and just stay positive and be around people that don't use drugs and just keep active working.
Working on recovery or a job?
Both.
Okay. So have you lived at this address in Waterbury before?
No, I haven't.
Where's a meeting in Waterbury? What's the address for a meeting in Waterbury?
There's one next to the police station, Wellmore.
Do you find meetings helpful?
Yes,
In what way?
because it has me thinking different and I could be around people that's trying to be sober and trying to change their life to better themselves.
So you feel less alone because obviously addiction thrives in secrecy. And
Yes.
have you ever worked the 12 steps, the foundation of NA and AA?
Yes, when I was in the Tier 4 program.
You know, because it's more than just sitting in meetings,
Yes.
listening to other people talk. It should be, the steps are, you know, the way you work the program every day to grow in your recovery and live clean and sober.
Yes.
Have you ever had a sponsor?
A sponsor? No.
Do you know what a sponsor does?
It looks after you and tries to keep you on the right path.
It's somebody you can reach out to, especially if you're having a hard day or you're thinking about picking up. Someone who understands the struggle that you may be in the middle of and can help guide you away from relapse.
Yeah, my sister is, you could say, is my sponsor. I talk to her a lot about that.
Yeah. But it's different, you know, to work with somebody in the program who,
Yes.
you know, typically men have other men as sponsors. Yeah. Well, I encourage you to dig deep into the program and find a home group, you know,
Yes.
get back into working the 12 steps. You're not eligible for release until early December. So that could be a way to, you know, use your time productively between now and then.
Yes.
Talk to me about the New Thoughts program, because I think that's new in DOC since your last period of incarceration. How do you feel like you benefited from New Thoughts?
I loved it. It had another side of me that I thought I couldn't get to. Like, And she made me realize my situation that I was in. I didn't have to pick up a firearm. It has me thinking way more clear now. It was really beneficial.
Is there anything that you learned in the program you're going to use when you're back in the community?
Yes. No matter what, when you're going through something, don't react off and just, stay to yourself, calm down a little bit, and then really think of the situation in hand.
So inform your feelings with your thoughts instead of your feelings driving your behavior and choices.
Yes.
That's important. It's something you can teach your young children because, kids just operate off of feelings, right?
Yes.
And they're so intense, especially with young kids. Have you taken a fatherhood program?
No, I haven't. Down there, I was trying to, but they stopped sending people from Cheshire Annex to Cheshire to take that program.
There are many different nonprofits around the state that run fatherhood parenting programs.
I would love to take that if I'm home.
I would encourage you to do that because your kids are going to have some strong feelings about you having been gone.
Yes.
And you need to be able to accept where they're at and help them deal with those feelings and provide the reassurance they need emotionally that you really do care.
Mm-hmm.
So you have, a long career as a drug dealer. Tell me what you understand the impact has been on the community of your choice to sell drugs.
Hurt my family, the other people's family that you sell the drugs to. Like, it's just hurting a lot of people. Now I see that can't keep going on. I gotta have a job constantly at work.
Well, there's no such thing as easy money, right? I mean, you're paying the consequence for thinking there was.
Yes.
And you got a significant sentence because you were peddling heroin and cocaine, and heroin in particular being a very addictive substance, one that you yourself don't use.
Yes.
It always concerns me when I see someone who is willing to feed off of other people's addiction, exploit their addiction to line their own pockets by selling them drugs that they don't use. So you weren't selling in order to support your own habit. You were really being a predator and preying on people suffering. And you sat through tier 4, you sat through tier 2, you know what recovery is like.
Yes.
From some of these substances. And yet, you took advantage, exploited those people who were struggling. And you're right, their families are impacted too, because that money that you put in your pocket was needed to pay rent, to buy food. So the harm just grows exponentially, right? Bigger and bigger.
Yes, it has. Yes.
I ask you about that, not to beat you up for it, but to, go back to this theme that you take full responsibility. It's important to understand the harm, the full extent of it that you were causing by your criminal choices.
Yes.
So you know why this is hard for us today, Mr. Irizarry? You score high for your risk to reoffend, and your criminal history dates back to 2012. You have 7 convictions for selling drugs. And you were not only granted discretionary parole the last time you were put out, but you also got transfer parole. So you got even a little bit more of a head start back in the community. And then in 2022, your parole was terminated early because you had 5 years of probation and you appeared to be doing well.
Yes.
And then you violated that probation with these new charges. Very serious, involving firearms.
Yes.
So, you know, when people talk about second chances, you've been given so many opportunities, and here you are back asking for early release to discretionary parole. You know, it's a concern, you know, because what it requires of us is trust and faith. And although I wish you much success and really do hope you will turn your life around,
Yes.
it's hard to think about being made a fool of with those prior decisions. So I'll be interested to hear your conversation with my colleagues. Thank you for talking with me, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Board Member Sarkoff.
Chair.
Actually,
Hey. Do you want to
oh, I'm
discuss?
sorry, yes, Board Member Turner.
All right. So Mr. Irizarry is 34 years old. Before us on a flat sentence, as I explained, because he's been unsuccessful in past periods of supervision. He was actively avoiding police interaction while he was on probation, to the point that he was willing to crash his car trying to get away. And it appears that was because he had 2 firearms inside the motor vehicle. And he's obviously a convicted felon who was prohibited from having those guns. And so now he's back before us, seeking early release, which would amount to 2 years of supervision on discretionary parole. He's done well this period of incarceration with programming, with his behavior, and working a job there in the facility. He appears to do well in a structured environment. And it is concerning that he wants to go back to Waterbury, but he does have supports and he has a confirmed job offer. So there we have it.
Board Member Sarkoff.
Thank you. So this is another tough case. I'm going to support discretionary parole here. Got some family support in the community. He has a job lined up. Don't see much violence in his history. It is concerning he was here just not so long ago. Ended up coming back, but I'd like to give him a chance to support discretionary parole.
Thank you, Mr. Sarkoff. So where I'm at, for all of the reasons that have been outlined, the biggest reason for me is one, that I don't see violence in his history other than possession of guns, which we should not be possessing. I do look back, and even though it was during the time of COVID, he was on parole. And he was doing well with the parole, with whatever supervision was there during that time. And then once released, things went south on probation, which is just not, it's not good because supervision's there to be supportive in the community. The thing that really gets me is that there is no additional supervision after a flat sentence is here. So he's done everything that he can do inside in his head. He's done well, as was pointed out, with not receiving any disciplinary reports inside. As such, I would like to see him have support from parole in the community, knowing that if anything goes on, that he's coming back. And I hope he hears what I just said, because if anything goes on, he is coming back and it's not going to go well. That's far.
Okay. I have no driving and a general no contact with Zachary Foster.
Yes.
And I will not be supporting transfer parole.
No. So, and we're dealing with December 7th. Right? So, in regard to Gilbert Irizarry 389261, I move to grant parole on or after December 7th, 2026, with the following stipulations that will apply to his parole. In addition to standard parole conditions, no operation of motor vehicle without parole officer's permission, the general no contact with Zachary Foster. Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Mr. Irizarry, you've been voted to parole. The conditions will be explained to you prior to your release. I'm sure that you heard Board Member Turner. We need to do better this time.
Yes.
Right.
I promise you, I won't let you guys down.
Don't let yourself down, sir. Don't let
Right.
yourself down.
Yourself and your family, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And use the remaining time in the facility to continue, work, especially on your recovery, as we talked about.
Okay. Thank you.
This concludes the hearing for Gilbert Irizarry, inmate number 261. Commissioner Irizarry, you're all set.
All right. Thank you.